Welcome to the Before You Bet Racing Preview, taking a look at all the action at Flemington and Randwick this Saturday, June 20th. I'm your host, Tim Geers, joined by Trent Crebbin to take you through our best bets of the weekend on this show brought to you by Palmerbet. Trent, how's things?
Very good, thank you. How are you, Tim?
Yeah, very good, thank you. As I said, we're playing at Flemington and Randwick, headquarters for both Melbourne and Sydney. We'll throw to you first. Flemington, currently a soft 5, rail in the 11-metre position. A little bit of rain predicted for Saturday, so how do you think the track's going to play?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. There's quite a bit of rain forecast on the day. How much of that hits the track at what time, not sure. With a rail at 11 metres as well, it's a bit tough, but I'm kind of expecting it to be on pace a little bit more than usual for Flemington early in the day. In the circle races at least. Down the straight, they generally try and get wide. So I'd probably expect that trend to continue here.
Yeah, I've seen a few people mention that they expect it to play on pace too. So it could be interesting in the early races just to see how much ground they are making. Now, over in Sydney at Randwick, as I said, we're on a heavy 9 track, as seems to be the case every single week over in Sydney at the moment. The rail moves back to the true position. So it's going to be, again, very similar to watch the early races on the card because the rail was in the 9-metre position a couple of weeks ago at Randwick, and basically the riders are doing everything in their power to get to the outside fence. So rail back in the true position means there's a 9-metre pad of fresh grass on the inside. So it'll be interesting to see if that's the superior ground or whether they are trying to make their way out to the outside fence once again. As I said, this show is brought to you by Palmerbet. They're giving existing customers more bang for their bet with the launch of their new product, the Bookie Bag. Provides Palmerbet customers with exclusive and personalised products and promotions. So if you want to know more details about the Bookie Bag, head over to beforeyouBet.com.au for more details. We'll get straight into our best bets now. We'll start with you, Trent, over at Flemington. As I said, soft 5, rail 11 metres. Your best bet comes up in race number 7 with horse number 1, King of Hastings. Currently a $3 chance with Palmerbet.
Yeah, I'm pretty keen on King of Hastings here. I think he's a well-deserved favourite. He brings some really solid 3-year-old form. Came first up here over 1,000 metres a few weeks ago, and you could argue he could have won. It was a narrow third behind Prezado, who's an absolute track and distance specialist. And then last start, he went to Swan Hill for the Golden Topaz, took on the older horses there, and it was an easy watch. He jumped, settled 1 out, 1 back, was barely touched and put 2 lengths on them easily. Back to his own age group here, he carries 60 kilos, but you look down the page and he only has to concede 4 kilos to the bottom weights and only 2 kilos to most of the field. So I think he'll just be too good here. He draws well for Craig Williams. He can sit wherever he likes, find the best part of the track down the straight, and he should be winning again, really.
Yeah, and I suppose you look at his overall record. He's had 10 starts, 4 wins, 4 second placings. He's failed on 2 occasions. One of those was in the Magic Millions at Ballarat where he pulled up lame. And the other one was at the Magic Millions behind Alligator Blood on the Gold Coast. So some pretty serious form. As you said, it looks like he's returning very good order, especially with that winning the Golden Topaz at Swan Hill last start. We'll move on to your best value bet of the day, which comes up in race number 8. You're keen on number 9, Innkeeper, currently $15 with Palmerbet.
Yeah, it's a tricky race 8. I was pretty happy to take on the favourite Heptagon. He's racing really well, winning his last 2. He did win the Swan Hill Cup last start by 3 lengths. But he goes up a lot in weight, carries 61.5 kilos. And his form previous to his last couple of starts it's been average. And he's now having to concede quite a lot of weight to horses that he's usually been about on par with. From Barrier 1 as well, that might not be the best ground late in the day. So happy enough to take him on. I think Innkeeper's one that can run well at a big each-way price. I think the horse is flying. You could argue that it could have gone close in all of its last few starts. At Cranbourne a few weeks ago, carried 63 kilos and was held up for a second behind Victoria Star and was conceding that horse 7 kilos. And now it makes it a lot better at the weights, and it's double its price here. Then it went to Caulfield, was racing on the inside on that day where it was windy and you didn't want to be on the inside. Everything was swooping out wide, and I thought it stuck on really well for second, beaten half a length. The barrier here, barrier 14, is a bit of a question mark. He does like to try and get kind of just off the pace, so if he can get to a good spot early, I think it'll give him every chance to run a strong 1,400 metres, and I think the horse is just going too well to ignore here.
Yeah, you're not wrong about the barrier. That looks the testing factor for me. Barrier 14, Brad Ruwilla on. He's going to need to work a little bit of magic. But I suppose the other positive for him is if this rain does arrive, he's a far better horse on soft or heavy ground than what he is on good ground. I think he's only got one win from
absolutely.
Starts? One win from 15 starts on good ground, and he's got 6 wins from 12 starts in the wet.
Yeah. So another thing that really helps him out. Yeah, again, just getting to that early spot, because he's not known as a 1,400 metre horse. He has run up before and run well, but I think if he just gets to an early spot, it'll give him every chance to run out a strong 1,400 metres. And with the each way price at Palmerbet, I think he's a great chance.
You've got one other each way play on the card, which comes up with Alfaris, race number 6, horse number 3. You want to talk briefly about his chances? He's already been well supported in the early betting with Palmerbet.
Yeah, he's gone something like $8 into about $5 early with Palmerbet, which is good to see, I guess. He's third up here. He's got a great third up record, 2 wins from 3 starts in Australia. Both of his runs this time in have been really good over 2,000 metres. Been finishing very hard. Came home in the quickest last everything sectionals of the race, 16, 14, all the way through to the 200. Last start behind Mohammed, so he meets here again. I think 2,500 metres is perfect for him. He's run at this track and distance very well, beating horses like King of Leogrance he had behind him that day. So I think that's outstanding form for this. Maps to sit just off midfield with cover, hopefully for Craig Williams. I think this just looks like an absolute setup job. Third up here, I think he's ready to fire.
Righto, good. Let's move over to Sydney, where Randwick, as I've mentioned, is a heavy 9-rail true. Bit of an icky card. Once again, like I said last week, nothing really stood out to me. We keep getting these heavy tracks served up week after week, and it's making life a little bit tough at the moment. But nevertheless, I've made my best bet of the day. Race number 5, Southern Legend. He's currently $2.60 with Palmerbet. It's probably D-Day for this horse. He's had his chances this preparation. He's gone down at $2.90, $1.75, and of course went down at $7.50 to Classique Legend last start. There's not any Classique Legend in this race, and the horse behind him was Snitz. I think that's a good form line. I think he gets his chance today. He's got a good record at Randwick. He's got a good record in the wet. As I said, I think this is a weaker race than what he faced a couple of weeks ago against Classique Legend. He took him basically all the length of the straight for Classique Legend to get the better of him. Does rise a little bit in weight, but J-Mac jumps on board. And I just can't see anything in this race that can beat him. He accounted for the likes of Viridine last start. He meets Viridine basically at the same weights. And if you go through the field, redouble, you never really know what you're going to get with him. Handle the Truth, he's out of form. Signore Fox, likewise. Invictus Prince, he ran well first up from a spell behind Coruscate. I suppose he's a likely danger, but he's second up from a 60-week spell, and he's only won the 2 races from 23 starts. So he's the type of horse that I typically am keen to take on. Sandbar, you could make a case for him. He did win second up last preparation, and then Jonker, he hasn't won in a long time. But Southern Legend, 4th up from a spell now. He won at this stage of his preparation last time in, which was also here at Randwick over the 1,200 metres. As I said, I just think he gets everything in his favour. Barrier 8, you'll probably see him go back, but we probably want the track to be playing similarly to how it did a couple of weeks ago, which will allow him to get to the outside and run on. But look, if he can't win this, I don't see how he's going to get any easier race coming up for him to win. So he's my best bet of the day. Race number 5, horse number 6, currently $2.60 with Palmerbet. Southern Lad for John O'Shea and James McDonald. Do you agree? I know we were speaking off air when I mentioned my best bet was Southern Lad, and you weren't so convinced as what I was.
Yeah, you have made a good case there. But I just looked at the race and really struggled to find anything I liked. There's a lot of horses that just struggle to win. Southern Lad has a few convictions. I know he's probably going the best out of those and does look to get the right setup here. The run behind Classique Legend is obviously the best form. it's just a race I couldn't really find any angle in. I agree, Invictus Prince I thought was good first up, but yeah, you're right. That win record, second up, not sure about him. Handle the Truth would be a horse I would like, but again, it's just not going well enough. You know, it was 4 lengths off Southern Lad last start. Does like it heavy. If it's maybe the fence is playing really hot from barrier 1, he might come into it a bit more, but he's probably not going well enough at the moment. So you kind of just default to Southern Lad, and yeah, I can see you thinking there definitely.
We'll move on to my best value bet of the day, which comes up in race number 3. It's Star of Harada, currently an $8 chance with Palmerbet. I was on this horse last start when it won at the midweeks. That was on heavy ground, and it remains undefeated from 4 starts on heavy ground. So 4 from 4 on the heavy. It does graduate to Saturday class here, but I suppose the other thing is this is a fairly deep race. There's quite a number of chances here. But I just thought, under the conditions, this horse has proven time and time again that he handles the heavy, and there's a lot in this race that perhaps don't or aren't as convincing. So, as I said, 4 from 4 on the heavy, that's good enough for me at around $8. I'm happy to have an each-way bet in, a relatively small field, just the 10 runners at the moment. So I've made that my best bet of the day. My best value bet of the day, race number 3, horse number 10, Star of Harada for Wendy Roach and Glenn Boss. I've got one other each-way play on the card, which comes up later in the card. Race number 7, I'm with Charitera. Peter and Paul Snowden. Karen McAvoy takes the ride. Currently $8.50 with Palmerbet. The thing about this horse is he doesn't win out of turn. He's only got the 2 wins from 17 career starts, but he has placed on a further 10 occasions. He's just got a terrific second up record, this horse. I mean, he ran well first up from a spell. He was beaten just over a length over this track and distance. Second up from a spell, he's had 3 starts for 2 wins and a second placing. He goes well here at Randwick. He's placed on both occasions over the track and distance. He looks to handle the wet, and from barrier 4 today, I would expect to see him much further forward in the run. We saw him go back towards last from barrier 8 last start, but from barrier 4, I think K-Mac will be able to put him into the race. Again, he's got a few convictions about whether he really wants to win, but I reckon he's pretty well a bulletproof place bet here. You should be able to get around $2.50 or closer to $3 for the place. That's race number 7, horse number 8, Charitera. As I said, you can find all of our previews on beforeyouBet.com.au. You'll find Trent's full write-up for Flemington, races 1 through to 9, as well as his best bets, which we've just gone over. And you'll find my write-up for Randwick, beforeyouBet.com.au. And make sure if you are having a bet, you gamble responsibly. Trent, good luck this weekend. Thanks for your time.
No worries, mate. Thank you.